Yeah, man, and it pulled that driver off of McCorkle Avenue and right into the side of the Marmet Christian Church, causing a giant hole in this brick wall that's now covered by 2 giant pieces of plywood. And you're talking about the temperatures dancing around there, 80s, 70s, 60s. It sounds like you're talking about retro music, right? But they're moving around quite a lot.
I know.
In Kanawha County, the average wait time is 1 full hour at all 3 CAMC emergency rooms and at Thomas Memorial Hospital. Right now, not clear whether court will be in session again tomorrow. What is clear, it's going to be a busy day for both cleanup crews and insurance adjusters. Caught in the crosshairs of weathery destruction Wednesday.
It's been a long day.
About the only silver lining George Poole can come up with is that he owns an insurance agency, so he knows he's covered, even if his ceiling isn't anymore.
But underneath the blue tarp are large gashes where the metal's just kind of sliced it like with a razor blade.
His roof punctured by another roof when extreme wind gusts in Williamson tore the top off of Dandy's nightclub and sent the metal flying some 100 yards before pieces came crashing down on the city streets, some taking out the brick siding of the Mingo County Courthouse, some damaging a handful of vehicles, including 2 state police cruisers and George's truck, while another piece exposed George's office to the elements of the storm.
Water just poured in on us, right? Just start grabbing buckets and putting them under the leaks. About all you can do.
Meanwhile, Donna Smith was in town recruiting for the National Guard when she heard the commotion.
I've been to Iraq, and I've never heard a sound like that. The roof was being ripped up, and then you hear all the thumping noises. So it was really a horrible sound.
So horrible, she says she expected the worst when she ran toward the wreckage to try to help in the aftermath.
When I saw bricks, I first was thinking that somebody may have gotten hit or got killed.
Nobody was hurt, but substantial damage for folks like George means the beginning of a long process picking up the pieces left in the wake of a nasty storm. Ronnie Callender's been on a jury before. He followed the judge's rules.
Not to look at the paper, don't look at TV.
Jurors are not to expose themselves to any outside influences.
Did you listen?
Sure.
Why?
Because it's who told us to.
What Ronnie can't follow is the thinking of Tanikra Payne, a juror in the murder trial against Tremaine Jackson, who, according to her criminal complaint, went to the murder scene near Ronnie's funeral home, a place Judge Charles King specifically asked jurors to avoid.
It was just a stupid act.
Payne is now charged herself with perjury after telling the judge she did not go on a rogue investigation, while this picture and her fellow jurors said otherwise.
The misconduct of one juror can throw a wrench in the whole case.
Kanawha County Prosecutor Chuck Miller says Payne's misconduct is costly.
It's a tremendous expense to the state. The trial was in its 2nd week. Resources from the Public Defender's Office, resources from my office, the payment of the jurors, the court's time, all of those things amount to several $1,000s.
Especially since it caused a mistrial.
The case starts over as if this didn't happen.
Which will mean more tax dollars spent on the unfinished Jackson trial.
Somebody wanted to be a hero, I guess.
As well as the case against this former juror turned defendant herself. It's not every day
I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
that folks mistake West Virginia for Wyoming.
It looked like a geyser.
Like Yellowstone, and it was just like what you would see out west.
But then again, it's not every day you see a water main break so forceful. It had neighbors in Cross Lanes convinced Old Faithful had taken a trip east.
The water was just shooting up, and it looked like it was going over top of Walgreens. It was so high.
If not a geyser, folks in a pharmacy drive-through line caught in the line of fire must have thought it was more like a derecho.
And that water was crazy.
For Kimberly Bradley, when crews with West Virginia American Water valved off the leak, the show ended, but an evening without water had just begun.
It's bad. You can't cook. You can't, do anything.
In all, 25 customers, including the Walgreens, saw their service shut off.
We don't have no water. Nothing. No, we got a drip. There it goes. It's gone.
Randy Gifford says he was worried the outage would last through the night and affect a family medical appointment.
She's got a pulled ligament in her leg, and she's got a doctor's appointment in the morning. We hope that the water's on before then so she can take a shower and go to the doctor's.
But with the problem patched up and water flowing properly, just a few hours later, neighbors like Randy only had to deal with one day, dampened by a unique incident.
55 strong! 55 strong!
nearly 5,500 strong, packed the front steps of the Capitol Monday.
It was an epic experience. I've never seen anything like it.
As day 3 of a statewide teacher strike came to a crescendo, we are united! With a massive rally continuing the calls for better pay and benefits from lawmakers.
They pushed us to the curb, and it really meant a lot to come down here and see that all teachers are tired.
And announcing the strike will go on to a 4th day on Tuesday.
That's incredibly disappointing. It's being disrespectful to our students.
Under the dome, Senate and House leadership held negotiations with union leaders, but while there was some movement,
They want a task force as it relates to PEIA to determine long-term fixes and solutions. We've agreed to do that.
Senate President Mitch Carmichael says lawmakers are holding firm on what they've already passed to help teachers.
Frankly, it's been difficult to pin down union leaders on what they want. We've put forth a great compensation package considering the constraints that we have in terms of our budget. Now, most people strike before they get a raise, and these people are going on strike after they've gotten a raise and a freeze to their benefit structure. So I think that it's sort of backwards.
But protesters say they'll keep moving forward until they see major change, even if it means their strike will repeat history.
The last one in the 90s lasted 11 days, so I see that we're probably headed the same way.
A conflict gaining intensity every day with no end in sight. Nathan Takitch, WSAZ News Channel 3, Charleston.